Terror in Minnesota. Lawmakers ambushed in politically motivated shooting as manhunt for suspect intensifies. Peace Gassel TV reporting. Minnesota is reeling from a wave of targeted political violence that has left a state lawmaker and her husband dead, another state senator and his wife critically injured, and dozens of public figures under threat. The suspect, 57-year-old Vance Luther Boelter, is the subject of a massive manhunt after allegedly impersonating a police officer to carry out a pair of coordinated attacks early Saturday morning. Red Triangle pointed up victims of the attack. A devastating loss. According to state authorities, State Representative Melissa Hortman, the former Speaker of the Minnesota House and one of the state's most prominent Democratic leaders, and her husband Mark Hortman were both shot and killed at their home in Brooklyn Park around 3:30 a.m. on Saturday. Just an hour earlier, State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, were ambushed and shot multiple times in their Champlin home. Both survived and underwent emergency surgery. Governor Tim Walz, in a press briefing, called the shootings an attempted political assassination and said he remains cautiously optimistic that the Hoffmans will recover. Bust-in silhouette suspect identified, Vance Luther Boelter. Authorities identified the gunman as Vance Luther Boelter, a 57-year-old man with a background in armed security services. According to his company's website, Boelter is a co-founder of Praetorian Guard, a private security firm that offers only armed protection and uses vehicles identical to those driven by U.S. police departments. Boelter's biography claims extensive experience in conflict zones across Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, including the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and southern Lebanon. The biography emphasizes expertise in combat readiness, U.S. military-style training, and tactical defense, all of which, authorities now believe, were used to plan and execute these deadly attacks. Man detective, a calculated disguise, and police impersonation. According to sources, Boelter dressed as a police officer and may have worn a realistic latex mask to avoid recognition. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts suggest he impersonated law enforcement to approach his targets unnoticed. When officers arrived at the Hortman residence, they encountered Boelter emerging from the home dressed in tactical police-style gear. A gunfight erupted, but the suspect managed to escape on foot, leaving behind a heavily equipped vehicle outfitted with police lights. Inside that vehicle, investigators found survival gear, tactical tools, and most disturbingly, a written hit list of nearly 70 names, primarily composed of Minnesota Democratic leaders, abortion rights advocates, and pro-choice organizations. Scroll hit list and political motive. The names found on Boelter's hit list have sent shockwaves through state and national politics. According to law enforcement sources, those named include Governor Tim Walz, U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar, U.S. Senator Tina Smith, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, multiple abortion providers, and pro-choice activists. Authorities confirmed that both Hortman and Hoffman were on the list, indicating these attacks were premeditated and ideologically motivated. This was not random violence. This was a calculated political assault. Classical building ties to Minnesota politics. Boelter is not an outsider to Minnesota's political world. In 2016, he was appointed to the Minnesota Governor's Workforce Development Board by then-Governor Mark Dayton and reappointed by Governor Walz in 2019. The board, composed of public and private sector leaders, advises the state government on employment and economic development strategies. Boelter served as a private sector representative, likely creating proximity to key figures like Senator Hoffman, who also served on the board. It remains unclear how closely the two worked together. Man standing the man behind the mask. What friends say. Boelter's longtime friend, David Carlson, spoke to the media and expressed shock, revealing that Boelter had recently been facing serious financial struggles and trouble finding work. In the days leading up to the attacks, Boelter reportedly sent troubling texts to friends that read like farewells, including one that said, "I may be dead shortly." Carlson described Boelter as someone who might have felt cornered and disillusioned. Maybe things didn't work out, and he just gave up, decided to go out in a blaze of glory, he told CNN. Police Scarlet security heightened statewide. In response to the unfolding crisis, authorities implemented a shelter-in-place order for Brooklyn Park early Saturday morning, which was later lifted after police believed Boelter had fled the immediate area. A cross-jurisdictional emergency operation is now in place, with state police, the FBI, and Federal Border Patrol all actively involved. Law enforcement agencies have distributed Boelter's photo to Border Patrol officers, anticipating he may try to flee into Canada. Meanwhile, the Capitol Police have deployed security details to protect those named on the hit list. Minnesota's government institutions remain on high alert, with increased police presence and scrutiny of threats. Speech balloon national response and call for unity. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz delivered a forceful statement. We are not a country that settles our differences at gunpoint. Minnesota has shown again and again that civil debate is our strength. We will spare no resource in bringing those responsible to justice. Former Congresswoman and gun violence survivor Gabby Giffords added, an attack against lawmakers is an attack on American democracy itself. This horror must be met with unity and a rejection of violent extremism. Senator Amy Klobuchar echoed that sentiment, calling the attacks a stunning act of violence and offering prayers for families involved. Checkered flag where the investigation stands now. As of now, Boelter remains at large, and authorities warn he is armed, dangerous, and potentially still impersonating law enforcement. Citizens are urged to not approach anyone claiming to be police unless accompanied by a verified second officer, and to immediately report suspicious behavior to 911. A $50,000 FBI reward has been issued for any information leading to Boelter's arrest and conviction.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to my channel.